This is Pod Populi, podcast for the people.
And back at it with another episode of Under Pressure, and it's going to be my first interview with a fellow radio peep. I'm here with Taylor Morgan, and I just want to read this so I don't miss anything. But entrepreneur, radio personality, foodie, co-founder and president of Kind Diner Society. Want to talk about that. You've done it all in radio. So Taylor, I just want to say thank you so much for being part of Under Pressure.
Thanks for having me. And I just want to go dun 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 dun. That's the right.
I hope we don't get flagged for copyright now. That was so good. I was like, wait, is that actual Queen? But Taylor, give me a little bit of your background. I like to always get to know my guests from almost day one, like Inception. I want to know Inception.
Inception of entrepreneurship or radio?
Let's do radio first because
Okay.
I'm a big radio nerd.
Me too. Well, I was born in radio. My father, he was a big, huge talk show host in Boston for 50 years. His name was Jerry Williams.
Wow.
And Radio Hall of Fame. I mean, big time. And I watched, not knowing, you know, how cool he was and what he did. He
was always dad.
He was always dad. And my sister and I always went to the radio station since we were 5 years old. You know, we'd be rolling around in the chairs and, you know, talking to Major Mudd and all these things in Boston. And I never even thought of going into radio. What I wanted to do from a very early age was be an actress.
Okay.
My 4-year-old self, if you asked me what you want to be when you grow up, it was, I want to be an actress with the leg thing.
It's always the leg thing.
The leg
For
thing.
whatever reason, it's the leg thing.
Like the Shirley Temple. I'm showing my age. Anyway, so of course, when I got to be around 17, and I was in the drama club. I did this show and this play and blah blah blah. But when I was 17, I did what all fledgling actresses do. I became a waitress.
I knew that was coming.
And I would go on all the cattle calls and what you have to do in order to audition. And fast forward, I opened Sprinkles Ice Cream Shop with my mother when I was 25 in Palm Beach. So that was sort of the entrepreneurial avenue because I had already had like 10 years of restaurant experience. And after about 2 years of scooping ice cream for others and going home with chocolate all over my forearm.
Hey, there could be worse things to be covered in.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. Thank you. And taking off like during the middle of the day and going on cattle calls still because I really wanted to be an actress.
And cattle calls are casting calls? Is that what that is?
Yes.
I've never heard that term before. Is it because they round up all the actors and actresses
Yes.
like their cattle?
Yes.
It's like, go there.
And we're all in one room vying for the same one job. And we all look alike because they're asking for brunettes who can, you know, do this and that. And
Stomp their feet.
some are more talented, some are less talented, some can dance. I can't. Anyway, I got a few jobs. I didn't get a lot. And then it dawned on me, oh my God. My father does a 4-hour act every day. He's a performer, even though he's talking about everything from politics to comedy to, you know, what's going on in Boston. He was a performer. And I'm like, the light bulb went on. Radio, duh. I was 25 at this time, or actually 27. So I put myself through the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Same. Look at us.
There we go.
Oh, we're the same
Sorry,
person.
I keep hitting you with my ring.
No, it's fine. It's a very nice ring.
That's my mother's. Anyway, so I went through the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, made some connections, and I got lucky. When I graduated, which, you know, it's like a 6-month course, my father actually bought a radio station in Manchester, New Hampshire. But I was not on the air right away. I had to
earn it.
Absolutely had to earn it. I wanted to earn it. So I packed up my little Datsun 280ZX Turbo. I gave Sprinkles to my sister, and I drove up to Manchester, New Hampshire, and I started out as the receptionist And I actually liked it. It was like
Because you were there, right?
Yes,
You were in
yes,
the game.
Yes. The first time you ever walked into a studio, was that not the coolest thing
Oh,
ever?
it was one of the coolest things because I got my start with Mo and Sally in the morning as intern Pookie. That's for another day of how they found out that was my
Remember
nickname.
that, folks. Intern Pookie.
My nickname that my mom gave me. But I remember just answering the phones, just putting people on air,
Anything.
like screening a call and knowing that I screened them and then they were on air. I felt like, oh, that's me. I helped with this radio show and it was so cool. And at that moment, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Very cool. Yeah. So I started out as the receptionist, and then I said, hey, can I try my hand at writing copy for commercials? And they said, sure. And I wrote some commercials. That was so cool.
Which is an art, by the way. People think you could just slap some words on a piece of paper. No, copy is an art within itself.
Yes, it is. You have to learn how to sell, be convincing without trying to be selling and convincing.
Yeah, it is a beauty. And the funniest thing is that you realize that radio is basically acting for X amount of hours. It's theater of the mind. So you can't just get away with your looks or some physical motions. You have to sell yourself just with audio.
And back then, we're talking about 1987.
Yeah, no social media, nothing.
Nothing.
Nobody knows what you look like.
Nothing.
You have a great voice, so that
Thank
helps.
you. But my father always said, "What is radio?" And he taught at Emerson in Boston, which is the acting and radio school up there. And every student answered it incorrectly. Radio is advertising. It really is. It is theater of the mind,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you got to paint that picture of that washing machine that you're selling or whatever it is.
I mean, I did radio 15 plus years, and this was my light bulb moment right there. Because you're either selling an idea, selling a concept, or selling a product.
Yep.
That's why your dad's in the Hall of Fame.
Or a song or whatever. Yeah. So I asked if I could write copy. They said yes. I asked a couple months later if I could voice something, and they said yes. And within 6 months, I was on the air. And I got to tell you, this was the turning point for me, Carmine. This was back when we had records. We were actually playing records with the needle.
Yeah, and then the carts. When I hear the stories like that, Taylor, I'm telling you, I was like, wait, that's like a whole nother level of skill. Like I was fortunate. I got in a radio. I'm pushing buttons.
Yep.
At most, I put my mic on, turn it up, get us into commercials.
Yep.
I could not imagine me fumbling with carts and stuff like that live on air. Yeah, want to talk about a train
Pulling
wreck.
carts. Carts are what the commercials are on.
Yeah.
They're like a cartridge. So we had to go pull the carts out of the cart rack and get all the commercials ready for, hour number one. And there was back then, the DJs actually got to pick their own music. That was the beautiful part.
You just revealed a little secret. Yeah, we don't pick any of the music.
We pick nothing.
You call in, guess what? If the song's coming up, we'll be like, oh, yeah, I got that for you in 10 minutes. We have no control.
Back in the day, though, they trusted us enough. This was before, radio was bought up by all the conglomerates. When they were owned by moms and pops, they trusted the people who were on the air to know how to make a show.
Yeah.
The mood, don't play slow songs in a row. Don't play three women in a row, mix it up.
Yeah.
Play requests. People were calling in and we were, taking phone calls on the air and editing them, not on a computer, but with a blade.
Oh,
and
that's what I'm saying.
You're
like a wizard.
And hold on a second. This station that I was on was oldies. So the songs were about 2.5 minutes long. There was once the record ran out, there was no record unless I queued it up. It was insane, and it was fun, and it was awesome, and I would never ever give that away. That was the coolest time in radio, except for the first day.
Except for the first day. I'm excited about this.
First day. So they changed my name. My real name is not Taylor Morgan. I made that up actually 2 years before I even got into radio. I said, if I ever get into radio, I want to be Taylor Morgan.
You were so proud. You were like, I got a fucking stage name. Let's go.
Yep.
Oh, you can't curse here, by the way.
I can?
You can curse. Yeah, you can curse. Don't worry about that. I just curse. That's why I wanted to be the first. Feel free.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, let your freak flag fly. Us radio people were like little kids. It's like, we can curse. Oh, my God.
Okay, so I'm going to reveal my name. Oh, my God. I never do this.
You've never done that before?
Most of the people watching this don't know that Taylor Morgan is not my real name. No. The only people who know my real name are people that I went to high school with. That's how long I've been in radio. I mean, it's a long time. Anyway, my real name is Eve Williams. My father was Jerry Williams. I hate it. Hate it. But so I was Eve Williams back when I worked at WKBR, my father's station. And again, no nepotism. I had to earn that.
No, it's good.
That position.
You probably could have fought for that too. Like you could have been like, "Hey, let me take the easiest path, the path of less resistance." And I'm glad you said that because it just shows you why you've had such success over the years. It's because you didn't.
Thank you.
Cut corners.
So the first day on the air, now they knew Jerry Williams owned the radio station, the listeners, and we didn't want it to look like nepotism in any way.
I didn't even think of that.
So they changed my name to Eve Meredith, which is my middle name. So it's instead of Eve Williams, it was Eve Meredith.
You were probably like, ugh.
I didn't want Eve at all.
Yeah.
I wanted Taylor Morgan, but my father was like, nope, it's Eve Meredith. That's the name I gave you. That's the name you're going to be. I'm like, all right. So the first day on the air, first I'm shaking, trying to cue up the record. My hand was literally like this. My mouth was all dry. I did not know what to say. I didn't know how to do show prep or anything like that. We didn't have the internet back then. You know, you had to look it up in Joel Whitburm's top 40 book or whatever. And I remember I turned on the mic and I said, whatever I said, and something about Eve Williams here with you on WKBR.
Oh.
And I froze. And I couldn't even find the button to push. And no one else noticed it in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
Except for me. But it ruined it for the whole rest of my 4-hour shift. And it was just horrible. I went home that night and I called my mother in Florida. Remember I had driven up from Florida. And I said, Mom, I was terrible. I hate this. I can't do it. I can't do it. No, I'm not made out. I'm not cut out to do this. And she said, well, you can't come home now.
Ooh. Figure it out.
And I was in tears. But it was the best thing she could ever say to me. Because within 3 months, I mean, it took a little while to get used to it. All the equipment, you know.
Yeah.
Hitting a button and knowing what to say is hard enough. But hitting a button, taking phone calls, and editing.
You were doing so much more. Like I said, I was in the age where it was kind of just a couple buttons here. Like I could use one hand.
You don't even have to think what your next song is going to be.
It's
already thought
there
for you.
It's in the system.
So I figured it out, and I became popular, and I was voted as, you know, one of the most popular DJs in Manchester, and it was in the magazines and this, that, and the other thing. And it spawned a 35-plus year career.
Well,
in
congratulations.
Radio.
And the thing is, you starting off the way you started off, probably the best thing that can happen, because you're like, hey, if that's the worst thing, if I say my actual name
that nobody even heard except for me,
I think I'll be okay. And you realize I had to convince myself this is not open heart surgery. No one is going to die. Like worst case, you fumble, you slip up, the world continues to move. Dead air, it is a panic though. Dead air is the worst thing.
Do you have dead air DJ dreams? Oh my God, talk much?
Do you know there are times when I'll be listening to just music in the car and songs don't transition quick enough, and it'll just be on like an app, and I'm like,
you start counting?
I start looking. Do I have to call somebody? I'm like, oh, what happened? Like any silence, I'm like, oh wait, we got dead air.
Counting.
I look to run somewhere. I'm like, I got to start something. Oh, people don't understand the absolute just crippling just feeling it is for dead air. There's nothing worse because you can't say, hey, sorry, we have dead air, like technical difficulties. Listener, all they hear is nothing.
Yeah.
And your PD will call you up. grab you. What's happening? It's like, if I knew what was happening, guess what? We wouldn't have dead air.
Yeah. And DJ dreams of having dead air, and the records are all in or the carts or whatever is all in the other building, and you have to go out an unlocked door, and 20 minutes later you come back and you can't get back in, and the song's running out, and those still plague me, even though those days of radio were 30-something years ago.
Yeah. So, Taylor, I need to know, because I've had some loyal, passionate listeners, and I think when it comes to radio, and hopefully with this podcast as well, they truly feel like they know you.
Yeah.
You become part of their family, their extended family. Did you ever have a listener or a couple of listeners that were just constant to the point where it was almost like, hey, you may need to dial it back a bit, because love our radio listeners, but, you know, sometimes they're not all there?
Well, let me turn it around for a second. Many of the listeners, not the crazies, because the crazies are there, yes.
Yeah.
Many of the listeners have actually become lifelong friends. Many.
I have a couple that I can say the
amazing.
same, yeah.
It's amazing because you have this connection. They listen to you every day. This was back in the day when you could actually say what you wanted to say, play what you wanted to play, and they connected with you.
It was truly your personality. It was who you are.
Absolutely.
With the exception of your name, nothing was fake.
Right, right. So that being said, I remember this crazy, this crazy one. This is the Manchester days. This poor, I feel bad. Her name was Yvette. I still remember. And she would call up every day and she goes, "What's the windshield factory?" I can remember we're in New Hampshire. She meant the wind chill factor.
Oh my!
But she would say every day, "What's the windshield? What's the windshield factory?" And every single day, she became like the station joke, kind of. And I always felt bad because we never met her. She never showed up at a remote or anything like that. But she'd want to talk to you for like, an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, Yvette, we got to go now."
Once you open up that door, it's like stray cats,
Yes.
You have one, next thing you know, you have 47. It's like, how'd this happen?
Yes. And then there's the people who listen to you who are incarcerated.
Yes,
Which
prison
is
letters.
Which is why most jocks, especially females, change their name. Because
For safety.
crazy people get out of jail and go find you. This was before the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can find you now.
Well, yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your name is. It's like
they can find where I live because they know my name.
They'll find facial recognition. But the KVJ, when they were on Wild 95.5, where I got my start, they used to get a lot of letters from people in prison.
Yep.
It's also kind of their show. It makes sense why, inmates would love that show. And it's just something you don't think about.
Nope.
You're someone's escape when they are probably in one of the worst situations possible.
Yeah.
And that's what I always thought. Like, you could be making someone's day. I always try to make it a point. No matter how miserable I was that day, if I felt sick, our listeners don't care, and they're not listening to us to hear me bitch about my life, my problems. We are their escape.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing I was always conscious of. I was like,
it.
you know what? I need to step up my game, even if I'm at my worst. I was blessed enough to be in such a cool industry because it's not a typical job, as you know. And it was just so rewarding to hear people be like, hey, you know what? The show I just listened to changed my day. Like, I just lost my dad. I just lost my mom, or I'm going through something, and you just made me laugh out loud in the car. And it truly is such a humbling feeling and a special feeling, because a lot of times I would just think I'm talking to a mic or my co-host. You don't realize how many people are actually listening until you get that love and that feedback. It's like, wow, people are listening.
Yep.
I'm just thinking I'm having a conversation.
And children, too.
Yeah.
When I was on the mix, I just came across this letter from a young listener, and this was probably 1998. His name was Devin Cole. I just found it, and I posted it the other day on Facebook. And
I was like, you have an incredible memory, but you did just find this letter recently.
I just found it. I refound it,
Yeah.
for the 40th time. And it started out, "I love the mix, and you're my favorite DJ because sometimes you're funny."
Kids are brutally honest.
That was awesome.
The brutal honesty of that statement. Yeah, because you're sometimes funny. Appreciate it.
Let me tell you a
so
little about
good.
me now. I go to Indian River Elementary School or whatever it is, and he told me what songs he likes, and Alanis Morissette, and this, that, and the other thing. Sublime, I remember he said that. And call me if you can sometime. He wrote down his address and his phone number and a little cutout picture, a Polaroid picture cut out and taped onto
That's adorable.
onto the letter.
I wonder what Dylan,
in the mail.
I wonder what Dylan's doing now.
Dylan, I did the math. He said I'm 11 years old, and this had to have been around 1998. He's about 37 years old now.
So my age.
Amazing.
Taylor, I don't know how to tell you this.
Are you
Dylan?
Dylan,
Dylan, come on in. That's so cool. The sometimes funny. You're sometimes funny
I
is
love the
so
mix, and you're my
great.
favorite DJ because sometimes you're funny.
Here's my picture just to show you that I mean business.
Oh, okay. Here's another one from WATD. Taylor, you're the foxiest DJ ever. That was left on my car.
Oh, that's a little scary then.
Yeah, that was scary.
Because you never know what that guy looks like.
I still have that note.
I love how you kept everything. Well, that's good.
I-
It could have been used for evidence too, so that's smart. That's smart, Taylor. So how did you transition from radio to It's Kind Diners now?
It's Kind Diners now, but two of my favorite things are restaurants and radio. And there was a very popular show in Boston called Pat Whitley's Restaurant Show, something like that. It was on Saturdays, and it was doing a lot of money, making a lot of money. He would just go around and have restaurant owners on the show. And everybody in Boston listened to Pat Whitley on Saturdays. I'm like, there's nothing like that in South Florida. Why is there no restaurant show in South Florida? And so I put something together. I went to WBZT, and I said, can I buy airtime from you?
Yeah.
So I bought 3 hours on Saturdays and put together a proposal, basically, to go talk to restaurants to see if they would sponsor the show. And by sponsor, I mean, money. I don't like asking for money. No,
It's so uncomfortable.
I know.
You know people don't want to just give it to you, but you also want it.
Yeah, I did. Not fun. Anyway, but I wanted to do this show because I wanted to, show people, all the stuff that's going on in the restaurant industry. And also with the Kravis Center, it was new at that time. So it was Taylor Morgan's dining and entertainment show. So I put on my big girl pants and I went out and I pounded on the pavement. And luckily I had some relationships, and I got 2 people to sponsor the show, 2 restaurants. And I needed like 10. And I got a couple more. And by September, I had 4 sponsors. Now, we're supposed to be on the air. First show is October 6th. This is 2001. And a beautiful morning in September, I'm driving over to Michael R. McCarty's restaurant in Palm Beach to have a meeting with him. And on the way over, I'm listening to the radio. And, oh, my God, a plane flew into a building in New York.
Yeah.
And I kept driving. I got to the restaurant, sat down with Michael. And, the bartenders are setting up for the morning, and they were around the TV. And that's when the second plane struck. And I'm like, we'll do this another time.
Yeah.
And I excused myself, and I went home and cried with the rest of the world.
I was in New York. I grew up in New York, and at the time I was freshman year in high school, and it was weird because I went to Stepanak. It was an all-boy Catholic high school. The teachers were on strike. They were on strike my first year in high school, so it was so weird. We went to school every other day, and that every other day was like a half day. So they called us into the gym. I'm like, what are they going to just waste our time here again? The last thing I thought was that it was going to be what they told us. Unfortunately, a couple of kids I knew had fathers who were firefighters that lost their lives in one of the towers. Our coach, one of our football coaches, also worked in the World Trade Center. He passed away. And my buddy who was sitting right next to me, Tom Vushai, I'll never forget this. He goes, He goes, my mom works in the World Trade Center. He's like, I gotta go call her. Fortunately, she wasn't at work yet, so she was fine. But it was just one of those moments that, like, I could probably tell you what it smelled like in the gym.
Oh
It's
my
one of those
God.
things that just sticks with you forever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, along with everybody else, we sat there and
Yeah,
cried for days.
The world was put on pause for
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah. And of course, down here, there was a no-fly. Nobody can get on planes.
Yeah.
So the restaurant owners are freaking out because we don't know if we're going to have a season.
Yeah.
We don't know if people from New York or Boston and wherever are going to be able to get here.
And I'm glad you said that because for those that aren't 100% familiar with the way the restaurants function down here, season is huge. So September, usually the slowest month. October to May is when things really heat up,
Yep.
and that's when you make your money. That's when
Right.
everybody, all the snowbirds, for lack of a better term, they migrate down here, and usually business is booming.
Right.
So go ahead.
So it is now a few days after September 11th. I need to be on the air October 6th, and I have 4 sponsors. I can't even pay for the airtime at this point. I had no idea what I was going to do. Not a clue. One day, I was upstairs in my house with my my computer with a 8,000-pound monitor. Remember those?
Everything was so much heavier.
Well,
It's crazy when you look at this phone right here and what
Everything's
it
in
can
it.
accomplish and how light it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Just mind-blowing.
So I was on eBay for some whatever reason, and my boyfriend is downstairs watching TV, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm on eBay," and he said, "Go look up Palm Beach voting machines." Do you remember the hanging chads?
Yeah.
Okay. So he collects voting memorabilia. So this is where my life changed. Instead of putting in Palm Beach voting machines, I just put in Palm Beach in eBay. And what popped up was, you probably don't remember this place, but a restaurant on eBay called Aleda's Tex-Mex, which was on Okeechobee Boulevard
Okay.
for many, many years. And Aleda's was auctioning off gift certificates to their restaurant, $25 gift certificates, and they were auctioning them off. And this one gift certificate was going for like $17.50 at this point, and there were like 19 people bidding on it,
Yeah.
and it still had 7 days to go. And I'm like, oh my God. Instead of asking restaurant owners for money, I'll ask them for gift certificates. And instead of auctioning them off on eBay, I'll just sell them for half price. Who wants to wait 7 days to figure out if they bought this
won an
certificate?
auction for a certificate.
So that's how
Another
the
light bulb moment.
That idea actually 11 years later became Groupon, which I don't own. But I did start SouthFloridaDines.com, which became LocalDines.com, which just celebrated its 23rd birthday. We sell gift
Congratulations.
certificates to restaurants for half price. The model doesn't work anymore. I'm going to get to that in a second. But at the time, it did. Nobody else was doing this. So I had the restaurants come on the show, and I figured out how to put up a website in 2001 when the internet was in its diapers.
Yeah. I
And
was going to say, I was just crawling at that point.
it was. And
Both speed-wise and.
yes.
Inception.
AOL.
Don't answer the phone. I'm chatting with my friends.
Exactly.
Oh, the fights you would have with your family. Mom, don't pick it up.
So people who were listening to the show did go on, would go onto the South Florida Dines site, and they would buy these gift certificates for half price. The restaurants would get people in their seats. I would get the money from the listeners, and it turned into, in 2011 and 12, we hit over $1 million in sales both those years. So it took a little while, but it was a good idea, and we had a very good long run. We're still in business, just barely. COVID pretty much took us out in 2020, and that business model, the half price gift certificates, is not ideal for restaurants in 2025. Luckily, I have such strong relationships with my restaurant owners that they are staying
Still
on.
committed?
Yeah. But I knew there was a better thing. So during COVID, we came up with something different, and that is Kind Diner Society, which is basically a membership. Hang on a second. I just happen to have a membership card right here. Don't leave home without it.
And that is why she is a pro, ladies and gentlemen. That is a savvy move.
You
Give me
like
some.
it?
Oh, I love that. Let me see this.
I should
Oh,
make
this
one
is
with your
beautiful.
name on it.
Yes, please.
It has somebody else's
I'm going to
name.
hold you to it. This is awesome,
I
Taylor.
will. So what Kind Diners is instead of half-price gift certificates and people buying one gift certificate at a time to each restaurant, it's a membership club, $8.99 a month, and it gets you 20% off at all the restaurants, unlimited visits per month, food and drink, your whole check, blah, blah, blah. Simple.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
The brilliant part, thank you. It's easy. I mean, it's not, that wasn't rocket science. Here's where I don't want to call it brilliant part, but the part that
That's
sets
fine.
us.
You can hype yourself up. You
What-
just whipped out a card right now, girl. Don't stop now.
What sets us apart from discount things is it's called Kind Diners Society for a reason. The restaurants don't pay us anything. I always want to, make this as easy as I can for restaurants because I have empathy for them.
Yeah.
I know what they go through every single day. Been working with them for a very long time. And what I saw was coming out of COVID, people had lost their minds being cooped up for so long, and they were taking it out on their 20-year-old waitress. I mean, the rudeness and the entitlement it still is out of hand.
Yeah.
What restaurant employees have to go through on a daily basis, and people don't know.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I'm not podcast rich yet. I work down the street here from the building at Salute Market and also
Oh, you
Giovanni's
do?
on Northlake. Yeah, I'm still serving.
So, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
you get
that's
it.
100%.
Oh.
That's why we vibe the way we vibe so far. And then you are so right. I want everyone to just kind of retain this. Just because you're going out expecting a service, you're paying for a dining experience. Those servers, they're not beneath you. They're not indentured servants. You deserve respect when you're out dining, and you should also give that same respect to the servers.
100%. They're servers, not servants.
I like that.
Imagine if it was your grandchild, your niece, your sister. Why would you treat them any different?
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of disrespect, the amount of entitlement because of, I'm going to go give you a 1-star on Yelp because, you didn't bring me enough tomatoes on the salad. It happens every day, does it not?
It does. And people don't understand the power those Yelp reviews have. They think they're just throwing something on there just to throw it out there or to be a dick or an asshole. And then it's like that is weighed so heavily in our industry, in the hospitality industry.
I could do a whole hour on this.
Excuse me.
I want everybody to go Google a movie. I think it's on, what's that? Tubi. I think it's on Tubi. It's called $1 Billion Bully. And it's all about Yelp and what they do to strong arm restaurant owners into paying them so they can get those 1-star reviews moved down from the top and put the 5 stars at the top instead.
It's quite the racket.
It's disgusting.
But just know you wield that same power for those listening that go out and dine and experience great hospitality. You also have that power to make someone's day. I mean, the way I look at it, unless something so disturbing happened to you, just let it slide or just don't go back to that restaurant. Do you really need to go out of your way to be negative? If something great happened, by all means, share it. Let everybody know that you had an incredible experience or that Carmine was one of the greatest servers you've ever had. For everybody that goes to the Salute, keep doing that on Yelp.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you any money to do that. Just
it
be
doesn't
kind.
cost a thing to be kind.
Exactly. And that is, that was a commercial for Kind Diners. Everything you just said is our mission and
We should be in radio or something.
But if a Kind Diner goes to a restaurant and they're not kind and they threaten that they're going to do a 1-star review or they start acting, sorry, Karen-ish. Sorry, don't mean anything by Karen.
You didn't start it. You didn't start it. It just
didn't.
happened, and now it's what society deems.
we tell the restaurant owners, please let us know, and we will kick them out of the club. There's a reason it's called Kind Diner Society, and it is because we actually do attract, haven't had to kick anybody else yet, the kind humans, and the kind that spend well, tip well, and are just nice. I mean, you don't have to go in and bring flowers to your server,
Yeah.
but just be
Or
a
give them
nice
a back rub.
person.
It's like, yeah, just be kind.
Yes.
As it says on the card.
So to take it one step further, what we decided to do, put our money where our mouth is. The members that pay us the $8.99 a month, we take $1 of that every month, Kind Diner Society, and we put it aside in a pool. At the end of the month, we invite one kind diner and their spouse to come out and have a meal with us on our own dime, and we give them the money that's in the pool. And if it's not there yet, we make it be at least $500. We hand them $500 cash. We're sitting at the table.
I think I know where this is going.
And they get to give our server a surprise tip of $500 or more.
Wow.
That's Kind Diner
Do you
Society.
know how life-changing $500 is for most people who are serving? Most people who are in the hospitality industry are working paycheck to paycheck, and they don't know. I hate when I hear people be like, why do I have to tip? Why do I have to this? And unfortunately, tipping culture has kind of jumped the shark. I mean, there are certain industries, it's like, okay, as someone who, most of my income came from tips. I understand people wanting tips.
Yeah.
But when your job is to just put in an order and that's all you did, you didn't give it back and forth. You didn't make my dining experience better. It's like, why am I tipping? And that's, I think, has saturated the entire tipping industry that people are so wary of tipping in the first place. Like, why do I have to do that? It's because those servers are making $4 otherwise.
Yep.
They're not going to be paying their bills with what the restaurant is owning. And $500, I just think maybe a single mom got that $500 or someone that just needed to fix their car. And I can only imagine their reaction, just the emotion they get. If I get a 25% tip, I'm like, thank you so much. I'm very humbled. And then $500, Taylor, that is well done. I mean, you don't need me to hype you up, but that's incredible.
Thank you. We've done it now 25 times. We have tipped out $14,000 in total. And like you said, there was one girl down in Boca, Delaney, who worked at Boca Beach House, little breakfast and lunch place on Federal. It was August of 2023, and her AC went out in her Jeep, and she couldn't afford to fix it. And here we come at the right table with the right server at the right time. So a lot of people say, how do you pick who you're going to tip out? Karma. Karma puts us in the right place at the right time.
That's beautiful.
And thank you. And sometimes if there is somebody in need, about what happened with the old Key Lime house and the shooting, the two gentlemen died. And the third one, Reggie Gordon, he was on life support for about 2 weeks. And we wanted to give the $500. And I wish it was so much more than that. But we wanted to give it to Reggie's GoFundMe. So I got in touch with Reggie's son, Reginald Jr., on a Friday. And I said, we'd like to give this. I just want to let the kind diners know, because the tip becomes from all of us. The gift becomes from all of us, because it's their $1 that we're pulling. I said, I just want to let the kind diners know how your father's doing. Oh, he's doing so much better. He's breathing, but we're watching him, but he's got a great attitude, blah, blah, blah. And so the next day was Saturday, and that was the day I was going to make the deposit of $500 into his GoFundMe, and that's when he died. So instead of the $500 helping with his recovery, the $500 was given to him to help with burial costs.
Which is unfortunate. Yeah. Part of life, and then it's just so expensive. It is really just
absolutely.
It could cripple as if a family's not going through enough.
Exactly.
Then you have to wonder how you're going to afford to bury somebody that you loved. I mean, it's just I don't want to get emotional, but that's.
So we just want to do something that's good, and the kind diners I call them we're a community. We've become family. We don't have a lot yet. We could use a hell of a lot more people.
I hope this helps get the word out.
Thank
I
you.
will help spread the word.
Truly thank you for this, because my vision, when I started Local Dines in 2001, I had no idea it was going to still be alive in 2025. I mean, that's beyond my wildest dreams. But if this stays in existence for that long, I can envision, 10,000 members, 100,000 members, and we take $1 per membership every month. It's like crowdfunding for good.
Mm-hmm.
If we have, even let's just think small, even just 5,000 members by the end of this year, which we're not even close, because I suck at marketing, but
Stop.
No, I don't really.
Roll the tape back. Watch when she whipped out that card. She sucks at marketing. Stop.
If we even just have $5,000 people members by the end of the month, that's $5,000 a month that we can do good with. That's tipping 5 people $1,000. 10 people $500. 1 person $5,000 because their kid has cancer or something like that.
I want it to get to the point where you can't even go out with the diners. I want it to get to that level where they're like, "Oh my God, he's here. Taylor's here. Taylor's here. One of us is getting that money. One of us is getting that money." It's like, I want that table. All of a sudden, there'll be battles with the servers in the back to who's going to get that table. You have to be in disguise. Oh, I'm not Taylor Morgan. My name is actually Eve Williams. So,
well, that's why we have other people do it.
yeah, I want to see you with a mustache.
Yeah.
You got to go incognito.
That's great. At some point, I won't even have to. It's not about me. It's about, and when we now bring the Kind Diners member to do it, we've given, I think it's 20 people the opportunity to present the tip. And every single one of them says it's life-changing. So not just for the person who gets it, but the person who's giving it, it is an experience.
I mean, they say it is better to give than to get. It is something that just makes you feel better about yourself. It is an instant mood booster, knowing that you just help somebody in such a way that they might not even be able to properly thank you. They're going to say thank you over and over and over again. It is that shock of like, what just happened? Is this real life? My prayers have been answered.
Yeah, it's always shock.
It's like angels sitting at a table.
And I'm going to invite you to be one of the guest tippers.
I would love that.
You got it. This is
Thank
true.
you so much.
Very soon.
I do not think you were BSing me right there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I see the empathy in your eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, we came in here, we didn't even know each
No.
other. I feel like I found my brother.
For real.
Seriously.
No, Taylor, this has been an experience, and I thank you again for being part of Under Pressure. And that's why it's so perfect for what you said, because those servers constantly under pressure. And the opposite of the Kind Diners, there are some douches out there. I unfortunately feel there are some people out there that love to go out to eat just to see what they can get away with.
It's horrible. Yeah.
I don't know why that brings anybody any kind of joy, or like how shallow of a person you must be to get your rocks off in that fashion when you're just making someone else's life miserable.
And it happens every day. As you know, I have story upon story. I wanted to do a podcast just about all the crappy things that happen to servers in restaurants, and someday I will, with the help of Pod Populi.
There you go. That would be great. I would love you to be part of the family. I mean, we're brother and sister now anyway.
Yes.
So, Taylor, how can people get in contact with you? How can they find everything they need to know about Kind Diners? Because I want to make sure we get that word out.
Oh, thank you. Well, the website is kinddiners.com. And I'd like to give your viewers a promo code if they'd like to join us.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Okay. So Kind VIP, Kind VIP, one word. Go to kinddiners.com. And if you want to join us, just click on the join button and put in Kind VIP, and you get your first month for $1. So they can try it out for $1, see if they like it, cancel anytime.
I don't see how you
get one of these.
I don't see how you couldn't love it. I mean, 20% off at restaurants, and these are some quality restaurants, and always room for expansion, right? So if a restaurant is out there and they want to be part of the program, how can they do that?
That's
same way.
Taylor at kinddiners.com. It is free for the restaurants. You just have to agree to
Give that 20%
to
discount.
pay it forward and give 20% off when a Kind Diners comes in. And you were talking about tipping culture. Guess what happens when the Kind Diners get the 20% off? They give it right back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I don't know why
And
I thought that
then
was like a
some.
trick question. I was like, oh, I don't want to mess this up.
And there are kind people, so many of them are tipping even more than that. It's not a requirement at all to give the 20% back. I mean, if you have crappy service,
Yeah.
of course not.
Just
But-
don't give somebody 20% just because you think it's the right. I mean, they're going to earn it as well. They're working hard, and you can just read the room. If you see someone, maybe they're overwhelmed with 7, 8 tables, they could be understaffed, which is
Just
the big
be
problem.
patient.
The big problem nowadays is being understaffed.
Understaffed.
Trust me, they're busting their ass for you.
Yep.
So
Just patience, a smile, just a smile is worth a lot, and it costs nothing.
Taylor, seriously, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad that we've met. I'm so
Me
glad
too.
you got to be part of Under Pressure. Speaking of, you guys can consume this all major podcast platforms, all major social media platforms. Get the word out about Kind Diners and be kind and spread the word about Under Pressure. And then we can go and on to bigger and better things and help more and more people out. So,
Absolutely.
Taylor, thank you again so much.
It was so much fun and such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.